Kay Alex Eala, binabati ka namin sa nakamit mong gintong medalya sa women's singles tennis.
The president of the Philippines personally reached out to Alex Eala after her French Open loss, and the message reportedly sent on May 26th has completely shifted the tone of her 2026 season. That success is not accidental. It is earned every time you choose to show up, and
That success is not accidental. It is earned every time you choose to show up and you choose to rise again. And
2-6 first-round defeat to her friend Eva Jovic, a match that carried more emotion than the scoreboard suggested. Eva is such a good friend of mine. We're competing against each other as competitors, and I think we're very accustomed to it, she reflected afterward. By sunset in Paris, according to circulating reports across Filipino social media and fan circles, the highest office in the country had already stepped in to lift her spirits, with the exchange being described as something Filipino tennis has never experienced before. I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in how I play even through losses like this, and I think that's very important, Eala said as she tried to put the defeat into perspective.
Such a good friend of mine. Competing against each other as competitors, I think we're very accustomed to it.
By the time the sun set,
arriving in Paris believing she was more prepared than ever for a Grand Slam breakthrough. The preparation was real, but the draw was unforgiving, and from the moment she stepped onto court, she wasn't just playing for herself, she was playing for an entire nation watching in the early hours back home. Then came Eva Jovic, world number 17, in form, and one of Eala's closest friends on tour, turning an already difficult opener into an emotionally charged battle on one of tennis's biggest stages. The match was billed by international media as a battle of besties, but the scoreboard showed no interest in sentiment. 4-6 in the first set, 2-6 in the second, just over an hour on court, and Alex Eala's French Open campaign was over before most of the Philippines had finished breakfast. Her doubles withdrawal followed soon after, and in that quiet space between defeat and her press conference, an entire nation seemed to hold its breath, wondering if the weight of expectation had finally caught up with its brightest tennis hope. What the cameras captured, and what reports out of Manila have since amplified, is that Eala did not crumble in the media room. She did not blame the surface or the draw. Instead, she faced the microphones and said, "I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in how I play even through losses like this, and I think that's very important." 21 years old, just exited a Grand Slam in the first round on live international television, and still speaking with the composure of a player who refuses to disappear. That mindset, according to reports circulating in Filipino media circles, is part of why a call from Malacanang reportedly came so quickly afterward. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who has previously described Eala as an inspiration to Filipinos following her 2025 breakthroughs, has publicly shown support before, but what reportedly stood out this time was timing, reaching out after a loss, not a victory. The gesture, as fans interpret it, reflects a pattern of national attention now surrounding her career at every stage. And for supporters, one message is becoming clearer with every setback and response. They were not wrong to believe in her. Those who stayed up through the night, who defended her online, who refused to let one scoreline define her trajectory, they weren't just watching a match. They were watching a 21-year-old who walks off a Grand Slam court talking about confidence instead of regret, and that is not a player who is finished, not even close. Then came a quote that quietly revealed everything about how she sees the game. Speaking in the Roland Garros press room, Alex Eala referenced Rafael Nadal, saying, "You see me and you see Rafa Nadal, he's just like a machine." It was not a moment of arrogance, it was a moment of study. At an age when many players are still searching for identity, Eala is already benchmarking herself against one of the greatest mentalities in tennis history. That is not the mindset of a first-round exit. That is the mindset of someone building towards something Philippine tennis has never seen before. This is exactly why the reported intervention from the highest office in the country carries weight beyond symbolism. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is not a casual observer commenting from the sidelines. He is the sitting president of the Philippines, the head of state of a nation of over 115 million people, and a public figure who has on multiple documented occasions through 2025 and into 2026 publicly recognized Alex Eala by name. He has called her an inspiration. He has framed her rise as a national story in motion. And when that kind of voice reaches a young athlete at her lowest professional moment of the week, even through official channels or public messaging, it does something rankings never can. It adds legitimacy. It adds permanence. It reinforces the idea that her value is not defined by a single result at Roland Garros, but by what she represents every time she steps onto court wearing those three letters, Pichai. The broader picture is impossible to ignore. Eala's reported presidential acknowledgement arrives at a time when Asian women's tennis is undergoing a generational shift, with new names rising across China and Japan, while the Philippines, long without a Grand Slam presence or a deep tennis infrastructure, suddenly finds itself with a player competing in the same press conversations as the world's top 20, and now the focus shifts forward. The grass season comes next, with Wimbledon qualifying and main draw preparation already mapped out, followed by the US Open Series stretching through the summer toward Flushing Meadows in August. 3 major windows. 3 major chances. And one player who has already told the world exactly where her mindset stands. Confident in herself, even through losses like this. The trajectory is no longer built on hope alone. It is now backed by a career peak inside the top 30 earlier this year, a season record hovering around 18-13, and a 21-year-old's refusal to flinch under the brightest lights in tennis. Yes, the loss to Eva Jovic hurt. 4-6, 2-6 is not a scoreline anyone celebrates, and the doubles withdrawal that followed was not the Paris ending fans in Manila stayed up for. But what Alex Eala did next mattered just as much as the match itself. She did not go silent. She did not disappear from view. She stepped into the press room, owned the performance, and spoke about confidence in the same breath as defeat. That, more than anything, signals a player who has already learned one of the hardest lessons in professional sport: how to lose a match without losing herself. A first-round exit in Paris, a friend across the net, a 4-6, 2-6 scoreline, a comparison to Rafael Nadal's machine-like mentality, and then, reportedly, a message of encouragement from the president of the Philippines in the hours that followed, built on a broader, publicly visible pattern of presidential recognition stretching through 2025 and into 2026. To be clear, the specific details of any private communication between Malacanang and Alex Eala have not been independently confirmed by major international outlets. What is verified is the president's repeated public praise, Eala's loss to Jovic, and her composed, confident response afterward. The rest is the narrative that has formed around it in Filipino fan circles, and it persists because it fits the moment she is in. So the question now becomes less about what was said in private, and more about what happens next on court. Does this wave of national attention and support become the spark that pushes Eala toward a top 20 breakthrough and a deep Wimbledon run this summer? Or does the real turning point come later at the US Open, where pressure and opportunity both reach their peak? Drop your prediction below. And if you've been following Alex Eala's journey before the wider world caught on, you already know what this channel is. This is where the Filipino tennis community gathers, where every match, every quote, and every milestone gets tracked together. Subscribe and stay with the fans who recognize the story early. The grass season starts next, and you won't want to miss what comes with it.